Hi guys, it's Josh, and today I want to talk about oil prices and what effect it's going to have on your wholesale real estate business. Here we go. It is almost the closing bell, and oil is currently trading at negative $37 a barrel. So how does that even happen, and what does it mean for wholesale real estate prices? Well, number one, it kind of isn't exactly what it looks like when it comes to oil. So yes, oil is trading negative right now. And the reason why is that the contracts for next month, which is May of 2020, are due tomorrow. So people speculate on if oil is going to go up or down in the next month, and they'll buy short or long-term positions in oil futures, which kind of trade like stocks and basically make money if they get cheaper or get more expensive as the delivery deadline approaches. And now that we're getting close, tomorrow's actually the last day for the futures to trade for May delivery. They are crashing. The prices are crashing. And there's two reasons. Okay, number one, at the end of the futures contract, somebody actually does take the actual physical oil, right? Now, this is typically going to be refineries or big companies that are going to store massive amounts of oil, and they're actually in the oil business. Well, tomorrow is the last day that you can trade the futures, and so then it's going to be pretty much set to go to delivery after that. And so right now you have those contracts expiring, so there's no more time to speculate, and at the same time you have almost no demand for oil, right? Airplanes are barely moving right now, ships are barely moving right now, even cars are barely moving right now. I mean, if you just drive out on the freeway right now, it's crazy. Like, feels like you're driving in a ghost town at night. Even during the day, it feels weird. It's funny, actually, the last few weeks, I've seen more cars out on the road on Saturday than any other day of the week. And normally it's Monday through Friday, right? You got rush hour going to and from work. It's crazy. Right now, there's not a whole lot of rush hour going on. So what's happening is there's almost no demand for oil. And so these companies that have big oil tanks that actually take physical delivery, they're almost full. And with contracts coming due tomorrow, it has caused the price of these deliveries to literally go to negative for this month. Now, if you want to buy oil for June delivery, which is next month, that's still trading over $20 a barrel right now, which is still super, super cheap, but it's not negative, okay? So most likely after tomorrow, the price of current futures, right, is going to go to positive, because then we're going to be looking at June delivery. But as of right now, being it's the last day before the deadline for May delivery, that's why it's going negative. So how does all of that really affect wholesale real estate? Well, I just want to say, number one, that's absolutely crazy to see anything trading negative. I don't care if it's oil, real estate, sugar, paper, right? Like that's crazy. Food, doesn't matter. For negative, like that's insane. So there's obviously some crazy stuff happening right now. And to an extent, everything kind of affects everything, right? Like, you know, industry in general is kind of tied to itself and each other. So typically, you know, stocks will have an impact on real estate will have an impact on stocks will have an effect on food prices will have an effect on the dollar, and all vice versa. Everything's sort of connected, right? And it comes down at its most basic sense to the supply and demand of humans and what we need, what we're consuming, etc. Well, right now everything's kind of in a state of chaos right now because of the whole coronavirus pandemic. So real estate is having an effect, oil's having an effect, toilet paper's having an effect, right? Shipping's having an effect, the airlines are having an effect. Every single industry right now has some type of effect. Your own job, if you work for a company, probably is affected by the coronavirus in some way. If you own a small company or a big company, I'm sure you're affected as well. And so what does it mean to those of us that are wholesaling real estate? And you can go to the last couple of videos. I've been talking a lot about this as we've been seeing stuff happen. And ultimately what it's doing, it's causing fear in the minds of a lot of investor type buyers. And so the last few years, we've had a great run. Wholesale real estate has been pretty easy to move. If you get a deal in real estate, you're going to be able to pretty much sell that deal quickly. And doesn't take a ton of experience, or even in a lot of cases, a lot of work. I mean, the properties were just flying. Right now, some of these properties we're having to market a little bit harder. We're having to sell a little bit harder. Sometimes we're having to drop our prices to lower than we did before. Now, I talked in Friday's video that in retail real estate, at least here in Arizona, we're not seeing the effects as much. There's still way more demand than there is supply. So although supply is increasing and demand's decreasing, it's not until they break even and then go the other way where there's more supply than there is demand that we would actually see downward pressure on pricing. But with wholesale real estate, we've already seen that happen. We had all this demand, and a lot of it was from people that were brand new to real estate, or they just got in the last 6 months or year or whatever. And so all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not such an expert at this. Maybe I want to hold off on a minute on buying property. Okay, and prices are already high, so there's not a ton of buy and hold investors right now in the Phoenix area. There's some, right, and for the right deal, etc. I'm always a buyer. It's a good long-term hold, but pricing has gotten so high that even a lot of the screaming deals we've got in wholesale, I look at them and I'm like, I don't know that I want to keep that, because I can wholesale it and make 30 grand, or I can keep it, and yeah, that 30 grand discount is nice, but it's not really going to cash flow much, because I'm still paying, $300,000 for a house that rents for $2,000, right? Does that really make a whole lot of sense? So, for long-term buy and hold passive income. So right now, like I talked about before, we haven't seen a drop in retail pricing. So there's not a whole bunch of flies. Anyway, something went in my face. There's not a whole bunch of amazing deals out there to buy and hold yet. Now, if pricing does eventually drop retail and prices go way lower, maybe there will be some amazing steals. But right now we're not seeing like, oh my gosh, like we saw 10 years ago, prices in real estate that are great for the long-term hold. But at the same time, all of our buyers that were buying properties to quickly flip them are either too scared to do it, or their hard money lender that's going to give them the financing is requiring too much money down, and that's got them held up, or some lenders are not even lending at all. And so it's crazy what we're seeing right now, and nobody knows how long it's going to last. In fact, with what we saw today, it seemed like things were somewhat getting back to normal, and then oil did what it did today. Now, a lot of people that are in the oil business, they might have saw that coming, going, holy cow, like trains aren't moving, airplanes aren't moving, cars aren't moving. A lot of commerce has stopped, and the May deliveries are coming due on Tuesday. And so they might have seen that more than the average wholesale real estate person like myself, or the general public. But all of a sudden today it makes headlines when oil goes negative, and that's insane. So ultimately, we're just seeing crazy stuff, and I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen, which brings me back to the point I've been making since this whole coronavirus thing started. You've got to be watching what's going on in your market, and you've got to be really serious about this business if you want to make money. Now, look, there is deals out there to be had. We just signed 2 contracts literally since Friday, and we've got a property we're selling today. Things are still moving, right? There's still a market out there, but you've got to be really diligent about this, and you got to know what's happening. You got to have a pulse on the market, both inventory in your local market as far as retail and what's on the MLS, as well as what other wholesalers are doing, and are they moving properties, or are they having a hard time moving properties, right? So a month ago, 2 months ago, you might have been able to overpay a little bit for something, and you might get lucky and be able to move it wholesale. Right now, you really need a good deal if you're going to move that property. And so don't let anything that's happening right now scare you. In fact, when I got into real estate in 2009, the real estate market was horrible. It was like ground zero for foreclosure. And I told myself, I said, if I can succeed now, I'm going to succeed for the long haul. And I knew that I was getting into real estate for the long haul. I was passionate about the business, and I was determined to make it work in this business. So if that's you right now and you're getting started in this business, know that you can absolutely succeed and crush it. There's going to be so much opportunity coming out of everything that's happening right now. But if you're in it for a quick buck, probably not the best time to get in it. So I hope you are committed. I hope that you are serious about this business, that you are studying it, becoming a student of the game, and that it's going to change your life like it's done for myself and so many others, and that you are really going to be committed to the process and understand the supply and the demand in your local market, and how to get good deals and talk to sellers and make offers, how to comp properties and underwrite properties, how to sell properties, how to market them, how to talk to the cash buyers. And so guys, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel right now. These are the things I talk about all the time, right? So we've been talking a lot about coronavirus right now and the current state of the market, which is extremely volatile, but always and forever, we're dropping a couple videos a week, and we're talking about how to get better deals with sellers, how to make offers, how to comp properties, how to build your buyers list, how to sell properties, and all these things. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what's going on in your market, what market you're in, and what I can do to help you, and I can't wait to connect.